are probably going to be, that are going to struggle with being in direct selling, because every day is a new day. At least that's been my experience over this last 25 years.
So regulatory-wise, or challenges with things that are too far beyond the borders, are you seeing that in your companies here? Money games coming through, different disreputable people pretending to be direct selling? Is that part of your experience as a leadership panel? How are you addressing that with your people? Just education, training them, showing them?
I think we need to teach them how to be entrepreneurs, and I think we need to teach them what that means and what the rules and the regulations are, and not to over-exaggerate. And I think but that's in any business, everybody does that, right? So we have to take that into consideration. Here is no different. And I think through social media, it just gets out there a lot faster. So we have to make sure we're on top of it. So you have to employ the correct people who know how to deal with the social media and the different aspects all over the place, so that you're able to keep on top of it and help the field. And you're absolutely right, Charlie, we need to be in touch with the field at all times, because that's the key point. If we don't know what they're doing on a consistent basis, then we can't help them and guide them, and they can't direct us to what we need to do to make them successful.
I think for us, it's our very clear articulation of our brand. So our field feels very confident because we always express ourselves and are very true to the fact that we are first and foremost a premium skincare brand that has strategically chosen to distribute our products through the direct sales channel. And that is something that they are, very comfortable messaging, very confident messaging, and leaves them feeling like there is no question about how we do business because of who we are. It's our core DNA.
So we educate them as we're recruiting.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's part of the story that's told, from brand new consultants to corporate business presentation.
That's great to hear as well. Now, seeing that this is not a highly prescriptive affair at all, would I be able to open up the microphone to the floor? And would you like to ask this esteemed group of leadership people on this panel, to our industry, any questions at all? There must be someone, there's always someone. And I will wait all morning until someone stops the pain. There we go. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Debbie Miller, and this is my first conference, and Direct Selling Agents Association is very new to me. So I have a question. You mentioned that you chose the DSA model. Why did you choose the DSA model over the shopping channel, the website, online shopping? Just curious. I want to know.
Why this channel?
Well, Rodan & Fields is a little bit unique in that the doctors actually launched Rodan & Fields in department stores first in the US. So it was sold in high-end retail, and it was very successful. We were a top clinical brand. But they had a bigger vision and really wanted to create a legacy brand. And when they looked at how it was growing and why it was growing, what they realized was that the department stores weren't doing anything special to market Rodan & Fields compared to the sea of other brands, right? We had great product educators that stood behind that counter and talked to the people that came up to the counter about the products. But when you think about it, that's a pretty passive way of doing business, and particularly even in our one remaining Canadian department store, there's a lot of choice. You go into those big US department stores, there's a sea of choice. And so what they realized in looking at how the brand was growing and why it was growing, they realized that it was because of people talking about it. It was the recommendation of a friend. People were running into, a former colleague, an old classmate, someone that they maybe hadn't seen in a while, and saying, "You look great." And because they loved the products, people were talking about the products. And what they realized was that if you give people the opportunity to monetize those recommendations, you're creating social entrepreneurism. And that's direct sales. So we very strategically moved from behind those glass counters out into the direct sales channel and haven't looked back. I mean, we don't know obviously what would have happened over the last several years had we stayed in department stores, but we doubt that we would have grown to $626 million as fast as we did, which is what our revenue was last year. We almost doubled from the year before. And we credit that to our field and this channel.
So why DS? Because it's still relevant and it creates advocacy, I guess we could call it, and that engagement with the product and good old...
Absolutely. Our consultants will stand on a stage and say, "I wash my face and talk about it." it's slightly more complex than that to run a large business, of course, but at the core of it, they're comfortable with it because they believe in the efficacy of the products. We've got all the clinical studies to back that up. More importantly and more visually, they've got a wealth of before and after photos to show to people, and they have their own personal experience and the experiences of all of their customers, and they talk about it. They're comfortable sharing it, and people do this on a daily basis, right? What do we do when we need to buy a new washing machine? We post on Facebook and say, who loves their washing machine and why? And 50 people tell you which one to go buy, right? We provide product recommendations all the time. This is just the opportunity to grow a business doing it.
Does that answer your question?
Totally.
See, we are relevant and we are cutting edge.
Could I just make a comment? I had the opportunity in the education to experience what I now call retail purgatory. A few years ago, when I was invited in to work with a startup company, home water filtration business.